All right, let's just get this out of the way. Forget everything you thought you knew about what a startup is. Seriously. We're not talking about hustle culture. We're not talking about freelancing. Today, we're diving into a totally new breed of entrepreneur. We're talking about someone who can single-handedly architect an entire autonomous empire, all powered by AI. And this whole idea leads to a pretty radical question. Could one person, just one person, build a billion-dollar company? I mean, think about that. No venture capital, no massive teams of employees, just one person and a laptop. Just a few years ago, this was pure science fiction. But now, it's actually starting to look like a plausible reality. So what exactly is an AI solopreneur? Let's be super clear. This isn't about managing people at all. Think of this person more like a sovereign architect. They're like the conductor of an orchestra, but instead of musicians, they're directing a whole symphony of intelligent AI systems. Their job isn't being a leader in the way we usually think about it. It's about achieving total mastery over their systems. Now, I know this might seem like it just popped up out of nowhere, right? Like it happened overnight. But it's not really a revolution. It's more of an evolution. And to really get how we got to this point, we need to take a quick look back at the history of something called leverage. Okay, so this timeline really helps put it all into perspective. Way back in the 1800s, if you wanted to scale a business, you needed labor, like thousands of workers. Then fast forward to the 90s, and it was all about capital. You needed big venture funding to get big. But then around 2014, we saw the first real game changer. Code became the ultimate leverage. And that brings us right up to today, to what we're calling the agentic breakthrough. This is totally new. Now scale comes from orchestrating these autonomous AI agents, basically AIs that can think and act on their own to get things done for you. So what was that precursor event I just mentioned? Well, it was the sale of WhatsApp to Facebook for a jaw-dropping $19 billion. I mean, that deal sent an absolute shockwave through the entire tech world. It was the first real, hard proof that you could have an insane valuation without needing an equally insane number of employees. And the big question is, how many people did it take to build this $19 billion company? Get this. Just 55. 55 employees. That ratio of people to financial impact it was completely unheard of at the time. It was like a little crack in the matrix, a tiny glimpse of the future that was coming. So, okay, what does it actually feel like to be one of these new entrepreneurs? This is where it gets really interesting because it's a fundamental shift in your whole identity. You stop being a boss who manages people and you become an architect who manages systems. And this comparison here really lays out that deep psychological shift. On one side, you've got the traditional entrepreneur, the boss, right? Their whole world is managing humans, team meetings, motivation. But on the other side, you have the AI solopreneur, the conductor. Their focus is all about orchestrating systems. Their core task isn't giving pep talks. It's auditing the system and, crucially, handling the exceptions. And what's an exception? It's just that rare moment when the AI gets stuck and needs a human to make a judgment call. Okay, I get it. This all might sound a little abstract, a little out there. So let's make it super real with a case study. Let's talk about Elena. She's a solopreneur who built a service that's just a perfect example of this whole model in action. So her service, it sells AI-generated romance novel outlines to authors. But here's the thing. She doesn't write a single word of them herself. She has an AI research agent that makes sure all the historical details are accurate. She has an AI narrative agent that cooks up the plot using all the latest trending tropes. She even has an AI community agent that moderates her subscriber Discord server. So you're probably asking, what's left for Alina to actually do? And this is the absolute key. Her only job is to provide taste, creative direction, and strategy. She's the mind, the vision behind it all. And the result of this beautifully orchestrated AI system, well, her annual recurring revenue is $4.3 million. Yep, $4.3 million. That is the kind of scale we're talking about here. And it's all from one person conducting a team of intelligent agents. Okay, but let's debunk a common myth here. This does not mean humans are completely out of the picture. Most of these solopreneurs aren't truly alone. They're not totally isolated. For those really high-level tasks that AI still can't quite nail, complex legal stuff or that final, nuanced creative judgment, they tap into a network of on-demand human experts. So it's really a hybrid model, right? You're combining the incredible scale of AI with irreplaceable human wisdom. Now, it probably goes without saying, but a shift this massive, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This new reality is absolutely a double-edged sword. It has incredible promise, for sure, but it also comes with some really significant perils for society as a whole. So let's break it down. On one side, you've got the amazing promise, right? Radical autonomy and efficiency, zero people drama or office politics, the ability to adapt to the market almost instantly. But on the other side, the peril is very, very real. We're talking about deep psychological isolation and burnout, a dangerous lack of diverse viewpoints, basically groupthink on steroids. And maybe the biggest one, the potential for extreme wealth concentration. It really forces us to ask a tough question. If one person can build and own a billion-dollar company, what happens to everybody else? And what's really fascinating is that different cultures around the world are reacting to this in completely different ways. As you can see here in the US, there's a ton of enthusiasm for this. It's seen as the ultimate expression of radical individualism. Meanwhile, Europe is being much more cautious, focusing on regulation and potential social impacts. And then you have East Asia, where we're seeing this really interesting hybrid approach, where these AI systems are actually being integrated into more traditional family-run business structures. All of this brings us to a really profound, almost philosophical question. I mean, think about it. For all of human history, intelligence has been a scarce resource. But what happens when it's not? What happens when it's abundant, almost infinite, thanks to AI? It makes you wonder, what then becomes sacred? What becomes uniquely valuable about being human? And that leads us to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. If a system can eventually do everything, what is the unique value of a human? The answer probably isn't about what we do anymore, but how and why we do it. It's our judgment, our taste, our ethics. We're not the workers in the system anymore. We become something more, like the guardians of meaning, the ghost in the machine. And that right there is a future that is both absolutely exhilarating and honestly a little bit terrifying to think about.